Hello everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. This one is Feeling Taut. I am Wick, and I'm joined by the lovely and wonderful...
Hello, Wick. I would like you to put the mirror down. I am also here.
Uh,
Hello.
I
Um,
said...
shut up. Hello, people. My name is Dewp. I serve as a local soundboard. I make funny noises with my mouth. Sometimes they make you laugh. Sometimes they make you go, ah. Today, I'm going to be playing the usual bastard bird in a wheelchair. That's the word. I'm going to be playing Lao Vis-Blind. And I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go, quite frankly, but it's gonna be interesting.
Mhm. It is. I mean, after all, you are going to go somewhere. Well, actually, to somewhere. The town. But... but I wonder where we shall begin. Exactly where are you, Lao?
Well, um, for those of you that haven't listened to The Duality of Love, go listen. It is very cute and good and adorable. It's basically the town where that took place. Um, Funny thing about that is they're in one of the like community like hall places, you know, those kind of like little community center kind of places, where they Lau went to like a baking class about a week or so ago, and whilst they were in there, before he actually found the room, like the people he was with were looking around, they looked around, and one of the doors they opened led into a specific room, and well, Lau's interest was piqued a little. So once he was done with baking, he kind of made a little bookmark in his head to go back there, just for a little look around, because why not? Um, and I don't know how far ahead or later this is, but he is there. Soul is also probably around because Soul isn't really Soul's not really allowed outside of town without supervision for a multitude of reasons. So Soul is probably just either wandered off into the town or into the woods. So long as they're around, it's fine. For the most part, Lao is just sitting outside of the community center, looking in, just wondering if it's or not, honestly. There's
I'm
a
sorry,
strange bird man sitting outside of this building.
I'm just imagining one of those memes where it's the one person, but they're like they have their hand to the window and they're just looking out into but, but instead they're looking in.
Gosh. See, now, Lau isn't the kind of guy who'd press his face right up to the window. He would just sit outside and look around. Actually, I should roll perception to see if he can see anyone. Because he's
uh
kind of looking around to see if there is anyone.
yeah.
Um, where are you? Oh yeah, look at these wonderful new stats of yours. Instead of the flat twos from before, you have more flavor now. That's a nine!
You have more
That's
flavor
a
now. Rolls a nine.
nine.
uh
He's better.
well, to your credit, it looks surprisingly dark in here. Uh you're not quite sure if anyone is in here.
Mm. Gosh. I'm gonna roll with save.
What?
I'm gonna roll with save. I need to roll with save to see what he's
Why?
gonna do. If this is under a 10, I know what he's gonna do.
Oh. Oh,
Oh, it's a 17. He's not gonna break in.
I mean, he could
Um,
have.
oh, he absolutely could have, but I mean, doesn't. This isn't technically. For certain reasons, he's not going to.
Okay.
Decides, no, this isn't. Oh, let's not break into a community center hall because from what I know, they don't typically get paid a lot of money from the government to like repair this sort of shit, and then people would be able to break in after me, and it's just too much trouble. So he's probably just, gosh, he doesn't think anyone is. He can't see there's anyone there, so he is going to hang on. Give me a second. I think he might actually cast a spell to see if he can tell someone is there.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if he can do this. Oh, actually, hang on. He's got fucking cantrips.
Cantrips.
Yeah, cantrips. He's gonna clear his throat, and he's gonna cast Thaumaturgy on himself, which basically he's gonna make his voice very fucking loud. And he's just gonna go up to the front door, and he's just gonna yell, "Is there anyone home?" And it's probably gonna fucking boom across the building.
Okay. All right. Let me let me check something. All right, I gotta roll then. Hold on. Oh my god. Perfect. Beautiful. That's a 3.
Oh, I don't know that dice parser. I'm a silly. I had a physical dice. I'm a dummy. Oh,
No,
yes.
it's okay.
Anyway, that's a 3.
That's a 3 on perception. Whoever is in there has not heard you somehow.
He doesn't know there's anyone in there. God damn it. Gosh. I'm gonna roll another whiz save for him. Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what is it?
Actually, well, it's come up as a 13 plus 6. That's a 19.
And you know what? That will work.
Huh.
Here's why.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet again. He's probably thinking, should I break into this place?
It wouldn't look. It wouldn't be difficult for a great deal of reasons, but it's fine. He's contemplating, but he might not do it.
Well, during this moment of contemplation, you you hear a voice behind you. Not directly behind, but just maybe a couple feet away. Oh, it's you.
Just gonna sort of, whoever's behind him, they're just gonna see like the ding 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 of 3 curls just twitch behind his head before he looks over his shoulder at whoever's behind him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I startle you?
That's a good question. I'm just gonna roll quick perception to see if. Well, it's a dirty 20, so. No. It's like just as you were coming up, you could see that the curls were twitching, just like ding 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 as you were getting closer. And yeah, he's just gonna look over his shoulder at you, and I'm gonna roll a history. Does he remember your name? Okay. History, where you at? Oh, that's a 21.
Oh, shit.
That is a 14 plus 7. He remembers. He's
Oh,
doing sort of decently today.
oh fuck.
He's gonna turn around, and I presume this is who I think it is. Is it Loretta?
Yes, it is Loretta.
It's her, the wonderful woman.
Oh.
Hold her so softly. Anyhow, dialogue. He's gonna turn around and he's just gonna look at Loretta and he's gonna say, "Ah, Loretta, I believe it was. I was a little curious to see if anyone was actually here today." And gestures towards the front door.
Oh, right. I had just gone for, for some supplies.
And she kind of holds out a bag that she's carrying.
So I kind of just, locked things up for a little bit.
Al's just gonna nod and say, "Yes, well, that's rather reasonable, I suppose. I suppose they're for your cooking classes?
Oh, yes. And she actually starts rummaging around in her bag.
I'd meant to pick up a couple of spices as well as maybe some herbs. They need clearing out every so often.
Yes, in terms of herbs and spices, it's always important to have fresh herbs and spices. The amount of times someone has tried to tell me, oh, it's only a few weeks out of date. No, that's incredibly important, especially if you're brewing things. I'm going to make another whiz save to see if he's going to talk your ear off about this.
Yay!
That is a 10. I don't think that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on. What is your whiz save? Is it a 4 or a 12? I think is it a 4 or a 6?
It's
Oh,
a
it's a
6.
6. Okay. It's a 6. I like that you know his whiz better than me.
Well, no, it's just because you've rolled 2 other whiz saves, and I'm like, okay, they're both 6.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's a 12. So he probably starts talking at Loretta about how different herbs are categorized and like how long the potency they are for like magical uses in particular, and then that sort of devolves into how they are grown, how long it takes, what kind of soil is used to grow them before he's just sort of seems to click his beak and then seemingly kind of pull himself back together a little and just well, yes, that's yes, herbs and spices are important to have fresh anyhow. And he's gonna turn around and he's gonna try and open the door.
That's a
And yes, I know it's locked. So I'm gonna roll a strength check.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a 6.
Bruh.
That's a 6, you dumb bird. He reaches for the handle. I've got to ask, is this like a push down handle or is it one of those bars that you hold and push and pull from?
It's probably one of those bars.
Gosh, okay, so he goes to like pull it and you just hear like the of it not opening, and then he's just like stops, looks over, just does that again before he realizes it's still locked. No, never mind. And he's just I'm gonna roll deception. I'm making a lot of rolls. He's making me make him do a lot of rolls.
You know, it be like that.
Oh my gosh. That's another 6.
Oh my god.
6 in deception, unless you want to roll like an insight for Loretta.
I mean, okay. Here,
You don't have to. With a
No,
6.
I'm taking a look. No, I'm imagining. What if they? Well, actually, even if I rolled a nat 1, it would still be higher than a 6.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Loretta, you can clearly see this dumb bird is very much trying not to show you that he is embarrassed he forgot the doors open. Absolutely not. Meant to do that. Huh? Just making sure that
The door was locked.
Yeah. It's to test that you're locked it all up properly, you know?
And Loretta just kind of gives a polite smile and goes,
Oh, right. I forgot to unlock the door. How else are we gonna get in?
and she heads over to the door and takes out a key, starts kind of fiddling with it. But soon enough, it opens up, and both of you may now enter the hall.
Okay. I'm gonna roll another deception. I presume Loretta is heading towards the baking room, as it's called.
Yes.
Man, you are not getting above a 10 on any of these. On any of these.
But this time I can roll insight to see if anything.
What did you get in that 20?
A 7!
No.
Yeah!
That's in that 1!
Let's go!
Oh gosh. Hey Wick, how heavy is the bag of stuff she's got? Because I know you just said it's like herbs and spices, so it's probably not super heavy, but does it look like she's struggling at all?
Uh, she's not struggling, but she does look relatively distracted.
Hmm. Okay. Al's not gonna roll insight on that because he's too busy trying to make sure he doesn't look like he's incredibly interested on the door on the right, where the dance hall is. Nope, not at all. He's just gonna follow after Loretta and he's going to call out, did you did you require any assistance with putting any of those away? Or making sure that well you don't get shoved into a cupboard again?
Oh, well, that doesn't happen very often.
You could tell that she's totally fibbing, but she then goes,
Oh, why don't I make you some tea, now that you mentioned it?
Uh,
so she
What would you like? After I put the stuff away. I can get that ready.
well, if Lao's just gonna kind of lean back and look around and make sure that she isn't she isn't gonna go and get herself trapped again. But he's just gonna look around and probably move himself over to the desk he was at before, the one near the back. And he's just gonna say, well, if you have any chai, that would be wonderful. But I think in terms of brewing it, it might be best if you let me brew it. I like it a particular way, and that's not always to everyone's tastes.
Oh,
she kind of blinks a moment.
oh, no, that makes sense. My husband's like that as well.
And she kind of shifts some of the stuff in the bag, kind of starts putting stuff in the cabinets. But she says, she kind of starts looking through and then realizes,
Oh, oh dear. I forgot to get that one. Oh, I'm so terribly sorry.
and she turns around to face you, Lao, and she goes,
Oh, I forgot one thing on my list. I can at least set up the water and tea for you, and then you can brew it how you like, and I'll be right back. Is that okay?
Lao's gonna cock his head to the side and what one are you missing exactly?
Oh, it's mm, um, it's a bit of a surprise.
Hmm. Roll insight on that. Garbage rolls. Garbage rolls for a garbage bird. Insight is supposed to be good, but you're just awful at this. That's 14.
you know, that isn't too garbage. Hold on a second. Oh, well, but
That's what I thought. Okay. He doesn't know what it's a surprise for, but he's just gonna mosey on past that and he's just gonna nod and say, well, I might have had it in my hammer space but if you would prefer it fresh, and he lifts up his hands and does the air quotes, continues on. If you wanted to get it fresh, then I suppose I can't hold you here.
Well, it'll just be a moment. I just have to stop by the gardens.
and she kind of hurriedly makes her way out of the room, and you kind of hear her little pitter-pattering steps as she leaves the building. So now
Could
you
she
are
roll me a
by.
perception
Oh, what?
as she leaves? Roll me a perception as she leaves, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, okay.
This is just a little
Perception.
thing.
Perception. Okay.
And I'm gonna roll against that.
That's a
Oh,
7.
this is... Wow, okay, you don't hear it. But for the audience, Lao was muttering under his breath and he just mutters, there's a garden here? And he sounds kind of excited.
Woohoo! Good. But now, Lao, you are by yourself. Once more.
Cool.
Except, roll me a perception, please.
Yay! Okay, that's a little better. There is... Man. I need to get used to your new stats. Yeah, it's a 15.
Yeah. It kind of, it doesn't take very long, for you to notice that as you're, setting the water and the tea, she had left it out for you, but, you wanted to make yourself a cup, which makes sense. You suddenly hear it's not completely silent in here. It might have been a little dark. She had turned on a couple lights coming in, but you hear very faint music.
Okay. Right, I'm gonna roll investigation to see if he can find out where the hell that stuff is coming from. And whilst he's doing that, he's gonna make himself tea as well.
Okay.
That's another 15.
Cool.
That.
And you were gonna make tea?
Yeah. I'm not gonna roll to make him tea because he's just gonna basically shove everything in a pot and take like a mug and the whole teapot with him because
Good.
like the longer he leaves the leaves in there to burn and just get really, really bitter, the better it's gonna get. So
Nice.
he's just gonna take the teapot full of, I presume, just like chai herbs and stuff like star anise, cinnamon, ginger, that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Just gonna chuck that all in the pot, put the hot water in, make sure that's all stirred up nice and gentle, and then he's just gonna take that with him like a mug, and he's just gonna try and find out where this music is coming from because, okay, clearly someone is in here.
Mm-hmm. And as you leave the cooking room, you can clearly tell where it is coming from. All the way on the door to the right, it seems to be slightly ajar, and there is light coming from that room.
Cool. Okay. This is what he's gonna do. He is going to pour himself a mug of chai. He's gonna shove the teapot in his hammer space, and then he's gonna reach to the side of his wheelchair, where he usually stores like he has on one side of his wheelchair, he keeps his weapons there. Sometimes he puts them in his hammer space, but for today he does have them on the side. He reaches into the little pocket that holds his ice knife, his ice dagger, or Everfrost dagger, puts that on his lap, holds the mug of tea on one armchair, and then just makes his way forward. I'm gonna roll a stealth, because he doesn't want to get hurt here. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Not subtle.
A
We're not subtle, mate. Uh-huh.
Hold on, let me. Hold on, let me.
Gosh.
Let me roll something then.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that's that, and. Okay. That.
Let him be perceived. Let him be perceived.
Okay, so the first one was a 9, but I decided to put it at disadvantage for a reason that you will see soon enough. So instead, they have a 4.
Oh, congratulations, Lao. You actually succeeded on being stealthy for once. Doesn't happen often.
But when it does.
Yeah, he's not gonna go in. He's gonna. He doesn't. He's not super quiet. But it seems like as he goes up to the door, that the music is on probably too loud, perhaps, for them to hear the sound of his wheels just sliding across the ground. And he's gonna just peek through the gap in the door.
Okay. So as you approach, you do hear the music growing louder. And as you look through the gap in the door, you see the dance room as you had seen a bit of it before. This time it's ever so slightly different. Now, the typical dance room look has like those bars and like the mirrors on the walls, and like the hardwood floor. But now there have been some mats that have been kind of rolled out on top of the floor, and uh, and not quite the center of the room, but maybe a little farther back, there is someone standing there. They seem to be, what is it? They seem to be in a particular pose, and it looks like they're waiting for some kind of musical cue. And I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Of course, they don't notice you.
Yeah.
Probably because the what's playing the music is actually pretty close to them. So, but you notice that this individual is holding some sort of rod and has a ribbon attached. And as you continue watching, apparently their cue has arrived as they begin to dance. And that role much earlier was actually their performance role. So, and that was a 25. So,
Well, that was a stealth to get into the building. I'm not gonna lie, but oof.
nope.
Yeah, that good on 25 right there.
Yeah. And you just see them nearly fly through the air. They are just, they seem to be extremely focused on the routine that they are working on. You see the ribbon flit about as they are just simply awe-inspiring, to say the least. But you wanna roll some insight?
Sure. That bodes well. Come on, mate. Okay. I think that was a +4. No, it's a +6 now. Huzzah. Okay, ignore the fact that I put the exclamation mark. I was supposed to add that. It's supposed to be this. Roll it wrong. It's a 17, not a 12. Also
okay.
I put it in the wrong channel.
I was waiting for it to pop up. Where is it?
I'm not smart.
No, it's okay. All right, it's a 17.
There you go.
Okay. As you watch them, you get the feeling that they have done this many times before, have practiced over and over again. But you're also reminded of something, just in the way that they move. They kind of, their movements are rather sporadic, but controlled. It reminds you vaguely of a butterfly. And as if on cue, you actually see two wings sprout from their back. As they finish their routine and again maintain a pose, but only for a moment. Then you hear, okay, almost. Not quite, but almost. And they place down their ribbon, and you kind of see them trot over to where the music is, where a notebook is there as well. and this figure begins to write hurried notes into it as the music continues playing.
Gosh. Gosh. Got an idea what I was gonna do. Gosh. Like, very gently push this door open just a little bit. He's gonna stick his head in. The knife is still on his lap, but he's not holding it. And he's got his mug of tea in the other on the other armrest, and he's just gonna lean in, and he's gonna shout at this person. So, do you have a habit of breaking into community centers then?
You just kind of hear this yelp. Pencil and pad just kind of leap into the air. And this figure turns around to face you, but as they do, one of the wings on their back kind of hits them a little in the face, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" You see them kind of very quickly kind of fold up and somehow just disappear. Hi? Hello. She kind of just squints. Who are you?
Well, I could ask you the same thing, and he's just gonna mosey on in. He's gonna shut the door behind him with like a gentle click, and he is gonna just kind of languish back in his chair, look around the room, look at where the music was playing from, at where the notepad and pen or whatever writing utensil this person was using is just scattered on the floor, and he's just, it's funny you should ask what my name is. I would also like to know what your name is and why you're inside of a locked building that shouldn't have anyone else inside of it.
She blinks a couple times. Okay. I don't know exactly who you are, but you're certainly not the weird satyr guy that sometimes comes by here. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I am allowed to be here. But I'm not sure about you.
Roll another insight. You lying? Are you lying to me, girly? Lying to me, girly. That's a 10.
That's a 10. Well,
Doesn't know.
there's you're not quite sure, but I will note for you and the audience, she has not rolled deception. She does move forward, but she keeps a fair distance between the two of you. She then takes a step back and kind of leans over and turns off the music. So are you? Oh God, hold on a second. I forgot to plug my computer in.
You're okay. What'd you get
Okay,
to?
it's like your battery's running low, and I'm like, oh, it sure is.
Oh, it sure do be doing that.
But she shuts off the music.
I will say, as she reaches over to shut it off, Lao with his free hand is just gonna wave it languidly in the air. No, don't turn it off. You can turn it down if you want, but don't turn it off. Leave it on.
Okay. And she keeps the music on. But she kind of gets back up. So, are you here for a dance class or?
Well, no, not quite. And he's just gonna wheel himself around the room. He's doesn't seem to take much mind of this person as he's going around, just having a look at the window, not the windows, the mirrors again. You know, making his way kind of nearer the middle of the room. And he keeps talking, saying, well, I'm not here for dance lessons. Well, let's just say that I'm not sure what exactly kind of dance lessons they offer here, but it's probably not exactly, not something that would be something I'd be interested in. And you can roll insight on that if you want.
Okay. Let me roll that. Alright, that's not bad. That's a 17.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm. Some people may assume it's because he's in a wheelchair. However, I mean, this is Inkwell. There are like people could dance in wheelchairs, man. Like that's not an issue. So it's not because he's in a wheelchair or anything. Like there are like classes for people who have like mobility issues for dancing. Like that's a thing. But the way this guy is kind of looking around and looking at everything, it doesn't seem like it's a mobility related issue. It seems to be something else, probably. And he does kind of reach down to the side of his chair and he seems to be like touching another pocket, just kind of like fiddling with that as he's looking around. But he'll continue on speaking as he's moving, saying, that was a rather decent performance that you gave earlier.
And she does kind of start a little. You were watching? See, this is why I thought there wasn't anybody here, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, there wasn't anyone here. The whole building was locked up, which is why, and he turns very swiftly towards her, why I am wondering exactly why you were in here. The building was supposed to be empty and locked up.
Well, it's empty for a reason, and I do have permission. Like I said, you can just ask, and as she says this, you hear the door open in the back of the room.
Oh, you two have met. How nice.
Loretta, who's this?
Gosh. Gosh. Lao's just gonna kind of, he doesn't have eyebrows, but his eyes just kind of raise and he looks over at Loretta and he's just gonna, gosh. I suppose you know who this person is then, Loretta?
Oh, of course. She comes by to practice every so often. I do feel safe in keeping her here sometimes. But, well, she likes using the space. Don't you, Annie?
And you can see the other person kind of. She looks just a little embarrassed, but she just kind of nods in agreement. I said I was allowed.
I'm gonna roll something.
Okay.
That's an 8.
An 8?
That's a whole 8. You both see Lao trying to be subtle, very not subtle, picking up the knife and just putting it back in the pouch.
Hold on, I want to roll something.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
They both probably notice, but neither of them say anything about it.
Cool. Lao's just gonna pretend he succeeded in that then. Let him have his small victories.
But Loretta continues.
So yes, Lao, this is Annie. Annie, this is Lao. He attended one of my baking classes.
Oh, cool. Hi. But you aren't having a baking class today, are you?
no, I was getting supplies.
Then what's he doing here? And she doesn't mean it in a mean way. It's just, what is...
What's your deal, punk?
Okay.
Owl's just... gosh. I've got to figure out how to word this exactly. Lao's going to be looking around the room, and he's going to be looking at however the music is being played. He's going to be looking at that, and again, he fingers like another pouch that isn't the one he put the knife in, and he just sort of says, well, I haven't actually been in a room designed to, well, be danced in, per se. It's something that I think someone I know would like to know about. It's interesting.
Oh,
They're both kind of like, huh, yeah. And Loretta kind of steps forward to further join the two of you, and she says,
oh, did you want to bring someone here for dance lessons?
It's just, well, it would be a bit of a trip considering she's all the way in Furuma, and well, she can't exactly leave at the moment. Just twitches a little bit at that. Like one of the curls at the back of his head twitches at that before he continues on. It's something to write home about, let's put it that way. She's, well, she likes dancing, and I think she would find this sort of thing interesting.
Well, it is very interesting, isn't it?
and Loretta kind of just beams.
I've seen Annie perform before, and it's really nice.
Oh, don't say that. And she kind of, she does again look a little embarrassed, but she does have a little bit of a smile.
Val's gonna just look straight at Annie. He's gonna continue on saying, I did see you perform some of your routine, and whilst it's not exactly the same as back home, it has a similar flavour to what we usually do. And he just, side of his beak quirks up, and he tilts his head and says, you would be, let's just say if you were in my home village, it would be a very interesting mesh of styles.
And you see Annie just kind of raise an eyebrow. Really? What kind of dancing do you guys do?
Neither of you have to roll perception. You just see Lao kind of the little grin tweaking the side of his beak just tweaks up, and he looks between you both and says, well, it's been a little while since I've actually done something like this, but... And he pulls something out from the side of the pouch on his chair and puts it in his lap, and he looks at both Annie and Loretta. If you wanted, I could... Well, I can't promise a stellar performance, but I can show you an example if you'd like.
Loretta looks positively thrilled, and she kind of claps her hands a little in excitement.
Oh, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
And she turns to Annie, who doesn't share the same excitement per se, but she does look very intrigued. And she just nods. Sounds cool. Do you need me to roll up the mats, or...
Lao tilts his head, and he looks down at the mats. And he's just... I don't think we'll need to get rid of them, so long as they're not flammable. However, I would ask that Actually, Wick, how big is this room?
That's a great question.
I mean, dance rooms tend to have to be quite big, have quite a bit of space.
Yeah. Let me think. It's probably
At
it's
least six.
probably big enough for what you need.
Yeah, it's big enough. It's at least 6 feet. So Lao's gonna kind of point them towards the other end of the room, away from where he's at, and he's gonna start rolling a little bit back, whilst pointing them towards the other end, and say, "It would be probably be best if you kept your distance. It's not wise to be too close when we do this." And this is where I roll some more things. Cool! Fumble immediately! Thank
Oh my
you!
god.
Thank you for this. If I get a nat 20 after this for the fumble, I'm gonna scream. Oh, that was close! That's a
Oh.
19!
Oh jeez.
It's a 19! Gosh, I don't want to unleash this particular thing in this FPS, but also, oh hell, that could be fun.
I mean, reality could be whatever you want it to be.
Let it be whatever you want it to be. Give me a second, I'm loading up my fumble chart, I'm very sorry. I don't usually load this up because I don't usually expect to fumble, and that's kind of the point. But I am a fool. I am just a bobo. Give me a moment. Just imagine this is like Lao is just kind of put a hand. Basically, Lao is wearing a blue sari at the moment. It's got nice little like flowery decorative embroidery going up the seams and around the skirt. And he does have his blanket still over his lap, but it's like folded up in like a square. Oh, cool! It's this item.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Cool. Okay.
Now it's time for me to be feared at JPEG.
He just sticks his hand underneath the blanket, and then he sticks it up to where presumably his elbow is, and then he sticks it even further up to where his shoulder is, and he's kind of bent in a very uncomfortable position on his lap, and you hear like a shh, and he pulls out a longsword, and this is where I roll strength.
Bruh.
Oh my gosh, really? This is where you roll the nat 20?
Oh my god.
Really? On strength? He lifts out the longsword with no issue, holds it in one hand, just kind of flips it from side to side. You two can tell? I mean, gosh. What would you guys roll for this? You can decide not to have them roll for this if you want, but if you like, they can roll either perception or history.
Okay. Let me take a look at let me see.
Gosh,
Perception or history. That's more. Okay. I think I'll have them both roll what they're better at, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so that's Loretta with perception as a 17.
Mm-hmm.
And oh no.
Oh, Annie?
Oh, poor Annie. She's got an 8
Oh, Annie don't know Jack.
in
That
history.
sure is a longsword, Annie. That sure is a longsword.
You know, to be fair,
Oh.
her brain first thinks, he's gonna dance with a sword? Man, that's kind of metal.
Sword dance. Hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, no, Annie, that is a longsword. And you see him kind of tut at it before trying to shove it under the blanket. Loretta, you see that there are actually engravings along the metal of this sword and also in the hilt. You probably wouldn't recognize the ruins because they do seem to be ruins. You know, hey, that's interesting. You've got some weird, cool little decorative bits on there. Before Lao shoves it back underneath
Now,
his blanket.
is it a particular language or?
Yes, but I
Okay.
don't know what Loretta knows.
Well, what language is it?
Um, it's a mixture of Orcish and Dwarvish.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting? Um, because Loretta does know Dwarvish.
Okay. So from what you can glimpse of a 17, uh, it's hard to tell what exactly they say. But you do catch like, um, it doesn't seem to be magical. They're not magical ruins, so this isn't a magical sword. They seem to be more like good luck, or it seems to be like kind of a maker's mark, if that makes sense. Like dwarves like to put their stamp on things,
Oh,
so that
yeah.
people know who made the thing.
Yeah,
This
I know.
seems to be like a list of kind of a list of names, like family names written onto it. Like you can't tell what the words, what family names are, but that seems to be like, oh wait, hang on, this these look like names. You can't read what the names are before Lao shoves them back away. And as he
Oh.
does so, he says, I don't need that right now. And
Oh.
he's gonna reach
Oh,
under again.
where did you get that?
Oh, my family gave it to me before I left, and he's just absentmindedly saying that as he's rummaging under his blanket again. That's an 8. Okay, not another fumble. And he pulls out, first of all, he pulls out a little vial of oil, which he pops on his lap, and then he's gonna roll again.
Oh,
He's pulling out something else. 3, okay. And then he reaches underneath his blanket again, and he pulls out what at least seems to be like a flint and steel kind of deal. No, not flint and steel. Sorry, he pulls out a box of matches, and puts them next to him. And I will say that 17 as well, Loretta. You didn't notice earlier, but you do notice now. He seems to have something coiled on his lap. It looks kind of like a whip. And what he's going to do, he's basically going to... Actually, I'm going to roll again for this, because he's not going to have this on hand. Yeah, he's going to reach under his blanket again, pull out like a bit of cloth, terry cloth. He's going to pop the lid on the oil, like douse it on the cloth, and then he's just going to like work it into the length of the whip. He's do that methodically. Before he kind of checks it all over to make sure it's all coated properly. He checks the handle and the hilt, and he kind of checks where the length of the whip connects to the hilt, just to make sure that's all okay. Before
meanwhile,
he seals it back up. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I've been
No.
talking.
no, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a space to say that, meanwhile, Loretta still seems to want to talk about that sword, but when you have been coating this whip in oil, Annie just looks further confused until she goes, wait. Okay, listen. I'm not one to put a damper on things, but we are in a building. You're gonna set that on fire, right?
Lau just kind of glances at her from the corner of his eye and raises a brow, and he says, well, what do you think? And as he's saying that, he's gonna kind of uncoil the whip very slowly, dangle it just to the side of him, strike a match,
Hey,
and light it.
what? We're inside a building, you bird brain. Oh, Annie. What? This isn't our place. Like, we usually do this stuff outside. And Loretta just goes,
Well, no, it's. Oh, well. But I thought you were interested in.
yes, I am interested. It's just, usually the more dangerous stunts we do outside, not in an enclosed space, and especially not with fire. God. And she looks kind of irritated. But Loretta's, she looks worriedly between the two of them, like,
Oh, I don't.
Gosh.
Of course, now this thing is on fire, though.
Yeah, it's funny you should say on fire, because when she says on fire, you hear the as this thing comes to light. And you just see from tip to the point where the length joins the handle, it just sets alight in bright yellow and red and oranges. It just seems to singe itself as it lights up. And Lao's gonna kind of just look over, give you both a smirk, and say, well, yes, usually this sort of thing is done outside, and I would usually recommend doing it outside. However, and he just gives it a very quick test flick of the wrist, and you hear like a and as he does, you see as he flicks it out, you see the lights refract across the mirrors, and the fire effect seems to. It's almost like fire goes from 2 points of the mirror, connect around to the wall, and then connect at the other end. And for a brief second, it looks like the whole wall is on fire. Before he pulls it back away, the fire retracts. I wanted to see how how a room full of mirrors in this sort of space, how it would affect a performance like this. I won't make you stay if you really want to go, but he sort of starts to slowly twirl it beside his chair, slowly making like little figure eights as he goes. He's no longer looking at Annie or at Loretta as he speaks. If you two want to go, that's perfectly fine. But rest assured, I'm not going to set the place on fire.
Well,
Do you want me to
better
roll
not.
persuasion?
What?
Do you want me to roll a persuasion?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Let's see if you get a nat one, buddy. No, you don't. Okay. What's your persuasion anyhow? Yeah, it's basic. It's a 15 again.
Nice. Loretta, her eyes are sparkling. It's just like, whoa, fire. And she's like, oh, no, of course, no, we can stay here. And as she says this, though, Annie, who had rolled hammer space, has, like, you see her kind of brush near her hair, but you see her, like, pull out a water skin, and she does, like, put a hand kind of across Loretta and push her back just a bit. Well, okay. Listen, I'm no coward. Let's see what you've got. And but you can see that not only is there a fire on this whip, there seems to be a fire in her eyes. She looks a little. She's kind of like, all right, bet.
Cool, punk. Now's gonna fucking smirk back at that. Like, it's odd as he smiles. You see his beak kind of jaggeds up a little bit, and his eyes seem to get slightly darker. And as he starts to twirl the whip with a bit more efficiency, with a bit more speed, as the figure eight that was slowly dipping in the air starts to become more solid, more of an actual figure, rather than just like a vague shape of motion. He looks over at you guys and he smirks and he says, well then, I suppose if you're not going to leave, let me give you a very quick demonstration. And this is where I'm going to roll performance with advantage, because fun thing about Lao's whip, it's not supposed to be used as a weapon. It is supposed to be used for this. So,
Good.
Okay, we're going with that. I got a 7 and a 16. Where's my performance? It's a 19.
Oh, nice.
19. All right. Okay. Let's see. At first, that's basically like a 10 and then a 19. So at first, it's not too impressive, not gonna lie. It kind of looks like he's doing warm-ups and stretches. He's just like flicking it from one side of himself to the other side of himself, behind him, in front of him, doing very slow loop-de-loops above his head. But as he starts to like go, and hey, you didn't turn off the music, did you, Annie?
She did not.
What music was Annie playing, by the way?
It was more of a classical piece.
Okay. Well, at first he's kind of out of sync because, again, he's testing. He seems to be testing what he can do, just flipping from side to side, backwards and forwards, over his head, kind of deal. And he's slowly moving around with his chair, so just to make sure he's got enough room for this. And as the music starts to go from like its very slow introductory piece and the ensemble starts to kick in, that's when he seems to kick in as well.
Hey.
And suddenly you're seeing him whirl this thing around, and the slow movements of his chair pick up very quickly. He starts to move in half turns, in 180 spins. He's just, I'm not very good at describing this, but he just fucking moves. And as he moves, you see how the whip rolls around him and leaves trails. It's weird. It's not weird. It's fire against the wall come to life, that's breathing in and breathing out and moving around him. And it's moving around you too, because all the walls are mirrors and fire is all around you, but it's not touching you. You think at one point he does wheel the whip out in your direction, but it's not close to hitting you, but you can feel it. It's weird. It's not a sting, it's not a burn, but you can kind of feel it all around you. And you can clearly see this guy, whatever he's doing, he's lost in the source of this. Like,
Yes.
he does not seem to recognize you're there, as he keeps moving even faster, twirling even faster, keeping in time with the music at play. And as it starts to wind down, he starts to go less speed and more intricate, starts to draw things. And you guys can see a few images as he does. You see him draw in the air the figure of a bird, something serpentine, and something, a quadruped of some sort. It's hard to tell because he is still moving quite quickly. But as the piece starts to come to the crescendo and dive down into its end, he starts to slow down. And as he starts to slow down, the fire that was flaring across the wall like a wall of fire starts to fade down very slowly, very gently, starts to bank like a hearth place in a little warm cottage room. Before, just as the piece finishes, he grabs the end of the whip. He grabs the joining of the whip to the handle by the stem, and with a flourish he puts out the fire as he runs his hand from the base to the tip of the whip, and the fire extinguishes. Sorry, that was a lot of me talking with description.
No, I really like it. I'm just sitting here like me, Loretta, and Annie just all sitting here in awe. But also,
here, like,
Annie, handshake, Lao, lost in the sauce when performing.
lost in the sauce.
I'm lost in the sauce.
Gosh.
But, so, sorry, I like how my two characters, they are speechless, so my brain's like, I don't know what to say now, fuck.
I'm gonna roll an insight for Lao then to see if he can tell what they think. Oh, good. Oh, good. That's another 9. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, okay. Here,
It's kind of. He's looking at them both, and I just feel like they have dumbstruck look on their faces, and he can't tell what that means. Was that bad? Was it good? He doesn't know, but he's not saying anything. He's just looking.
well, currently, Loretta. Oh, Loretta. She is. She does a few claps, and she goes, "Oh, bravo! that was quite spectacular." Meanwhile, Annie, rolling deception. She is cool as a cucumber and just kind of, she nods and goes, that's pretty cool. Note, I rolled a whiz save off screen, which was a 7.
Cool.
She's very impressed.
Nice.
But of course,
I'm gonna roll.
Cloud doesn't know that, I don't think.
Oh no, he rolled a fucking 9. He can't tell shit. I'm gonna roll a deception for him though, which is a 17. So he appears to be like very calm, as he
Ooh, should
not
I roll
really-
insight?
Well, you can do. Whilst he's doing that, he is. Oh. Oh wait, hang on. He's got this spell. He can do that.
Oh.
You're gonna see him roll. No, he's not gonna roll. You're gonna see him kind of shake his hand onto the floor, and you're gonna see like water shake off of his hand.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you can. Yeah, no, it's water. I'm not gonna make you think it's oil. That's mean. He shakes water off his hand onto the floor. They're just like a few little droplets, and he reaches out with his blanket and just starts to very gently dry the whip as he looks at you two, raises a brow and says, "Yes, well, obviously that was amateur performance. People my village are able to do that in a much more dignified and presentable manner, but, well," and he shrugs his shoulders and leans back, that's the kind of dancing, I suppose, that we usually do.
So Annie got a 4. She got a 4 in relation to the deception. So when you're trying to figure
Wow.
out this bird and you're just like,
I'll shrug.
Meanwhile, Loretta's got a 23. What does she see?
He's trying to hide it, but you can see, like, the curls in the back of his head, like, curl slightly tighter to the back of his head, and he starts to, like, he's looking at you, but he's not looking you in the eye, and he's slightly, as he's rubbing the blanket across the length of the whip, you can also see he's, like, kind of plucking at the blanket subtly as well. He seems to be a little embarrassed. But, I mean, you don't know this guy well enough, but he does seem to be, like, a little more, not reserved, but, what's the word? Gosh, I can't think of the word. Embarrassed, but also proud?
Oh, like a little bashful, probably.
Yeah. Look,
Well,
putting Lao and bashful in the same sentence feels incredibly wrong.
well, I mean, Loretta might not know Lao all too well, but she does know when someone is a little bashful about their performances. Annie. Anyway. So, Loretta goes, "Oh, no, you did wonderful. I thought it was, I have no idea what it is, but I must tell you oh, that was great, wasn't it?" And she just turned to Annie, but Annie just kind of gives a polite nod and goes, "Yeah." But Loretta turns back to you, Lao, and just, man, she just beams. She looks very excited. She's just like, "Yeah."
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Loretta, with that insight, you can kind of see him sort of he looks away from you now and he's just looking down at his blanket and he's just kind of looking a little bit more obviously at the blanket. As you look at him and he just sort of well, yes, it was a decent showing of what we usually do at home, but my mother is far better at it than I am. She is she's the head dancer, as it were.
Oh. Oh, well. Oh, that's.
Again, Loretta's just, geez, she's, man, I'm just sitting here. How do I describe? But she does step forward and she doesn't get too close, but she gets at least a bit closer to you, and she goes,
Well, if I may say so, I think she taught you very well.
and she just gives this cute little smile.
What is it called, by the way?
Okay, I'm gonna carry on with the insight you got. When she says she taught you very well, you see him tense up, like, very briefly before he relaxes.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry about that.
I choose to worry about it.
It's fine. And he kind of side eyes her before quickly looking back towards one of the mirrors and seems to look at himself in the reflection and says, "Well, it's not exactly got a name, really. We just all our villages has a tradition of storytelling through, well, fire and such, and in such a way we tend to use some of our weapons in such a way. Sometimes usually it's something like this," and he holds out the whip very, very gently, like two hands underneath, fingers curled over. Sometimes some people use a sickle and a chain, which is interesting, for sure, but also a lot harder to control than a simple whip. I can't I can't tell you the amount of times someone's accidentally thrown a sickle through someone's straw roof. It is a pain to clear up, and the amount of times people do it whilst they're a little bit inebriated. It's oh, anyhow, and he shakes his head. Anyhow, it's just it's part of our culture, I suppose. There's drums usually, and it's just kind of shrugs. It's a communal sort of thing.
And Loretta has kind of calmed a little, and she is nodding intently. And since she had noticed the tenseness, as you had tensed for a moment, she switches gears.
Oh, oh, I just remembered. Did you, were you able to get your tea? Did you want some as well, Annie?
And she turns
Oh my
to her.
gosh! I
Um,
just remembered. He didn't take his fucking tea off the chair. Oh no! Hang on.
no, I think, what if
Oh,
it just
hang on.
magically just...
I need to see how much of a mess he's made. I need to see how much tea is on the floor now, because he didn't
Uh-oh.
take this off. It's gonna be a dex. That's a straight dex. That's a straight dex.
Uh-oh.
Now, how much tea have you got on the fucking floor, mate? Oh, that's a 5. There's a lot of tea on the floor. There's a lot of tea on the floor. And now just kind of looks at his now empty mug that he didn't realize he didn't put away. He doesn't even know how the hell he didn't throw this thing across the room.
I would like, I'd also like to say, Loretta hadn't quite noticed until Annie says, "Do you mean the tea that's all over the floor?" Everyone pauses.
Everyone pauses, looks down. Loud just says, "Ah, right, let me just," and he snaps his fingers. and he casts Destroy Water. T's gone, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Destroy water.
Yeah, he has create destroy. He's a cleric.
I
He
mean,
has create destroy water.
It
It's
is
fine.
leaf water.
Your floor in here now has a faintly chai smelling floorboards.
Good.
No, wait, they're soaked into the mats. Oh, the mats all smell like chai tea now. Forgot about that.
Oops. Annie just kind of gives this look like, really? Like, oh my goodness. But Loretta says,
Oh, don't worry about it. We can, well, I mean, you just cleared it up, huh?
It's rather a simple matter to clear that sort of thing. Well, quite honestly, Create and Destroy Water is a very useful spell, especially when you're working with, and he holds up his whip again, working with something that may require you to cast it at a moment's notice. And as he's saying this, he's just very slowly coiling the whip back up and putting it back in the pouch. He looks back at Loretta and says, "Did you get the herbs you were looking for?"
Yes, I did.
Just nods his head and says, I suppose that's all well and good then. And he's gonna kind of lean around to look at Annie and say, "I don't suppose you've ever thought about fireproofing that ribbon of yours?" And he gives her a smirk.
she 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 kind of just gives him this look, but then you can, like, you don't have to roll insight. She kind of gets this look, like, at first she's like, wow, really? But then she's like actually considering it for a little.
You know, I'll have to think about that.
But
But she
please
just
do.
she gives a little bit of a grin.
Well, you don't have to go with fire. I know there are some people that go with lightning whips, from what I've heard. I'm almost certain you could fashion that into a whip if you... I don't know how strong exactly the textiles in that are, but if you change some things up, I'm sure you'd be able to, you make a decent whip out of that. And he gestures at the ribbon. He's also probably gonna, like, turn around and make his way over to where the music is playing and turn that off. Oh! I just remembered something. Hey, Wick.
Yes?
Did Annie pick up her notebook?
Oh, no.
Oh no! Roll perception. Oh no! Oh
Oh, no?
no! What have you done? What have you done? So that's a dirty 22 on perception.
Oh,
He
what?
looks around the floor and as he's turning off the radio, he's probably gonna notice your notebook on the floor.
What, is he gonna snoop?
He's gonna pick it up because again, he casts create slash dry destroy water was to make sure that your book isn't completely picked up.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like based on the distance, and I think it's probably okay. I mean, with your
Well,
perception, you can tell that the notebook has somehow been spared.
somehow.
Though if you also want to take a look at it, I mean, you did pick it up.
Let's roll with safe. You're gonna snoop right in front of her. Well. Also, add 2 to that. It's an 8. Still an 8. He's gonna snoop. He's just gonna call over his shoulder as he casually starts to open this notebook, and he's just gonna say, "So what exactly do you write in this thing, anyhow?" And he's gonna turn himself around and head over towards Annie,
But,
still down, looking at this thing.
hey, what are you doing with that? That's mine, you know. And she's heading over. But but you do get to glance at one or two pages. You notice that it is a mixture of, well, in terms of the words on the page, there's a mixture of common and another language. They seem to be notes, along with a couple of sketches as to it's detailing how to do certain techniques in relation to dancing, as well as trying to correct certain placement. You notice that one of the latest notes is her kind of like correcting a specific foot placement, or making sure that her wrist is in a certain angle. So, but she she storms right up to you, and she doesn't try to wrench it out from your hand, but she holds out a hand like, "That's mine. Give it back."
Well, having seen what's in this, he's just gonna hand it back to her, and as she grabs it, he's just gonna comment, "Oh, you certainly take detailed notes. I can respect the effort you're putting into, into bettering your performance."
Thanks. And she says this tentatively. Uh, but she kind of closes it back up. You can tell though that she does look the slightest bit of bashful. But I forget what I was going to say after that. She kind of flicks absent-mindedly through a couple pages. Yeah, I've still got stuff to learn. You never really finish learning.
Lao's just gonna kind of nod his head at that, and yeah, he's in terms of well, yes, I suppose I can agree with that for a multitude of reasons. But in terms of dancing specifically, well, you seem to be well on your way to doing well.
And now she does look a little more bashful, but she nods and says, thanks.
Are you thanking me?
Why? I mean, you said something nice. Aren't I supposed to say thank you?
He kind of just squints and cocks his head, and it's just like, I just gave you my opinion. Whether that's nice or negative, it shouldn't be something to be thanked for. Just accept it, surely. And as he does that, I'm gonna roll another hammer space because I just remembered he put this in here. Yep. He's gonna reach underneath his blanket again. You're gonna hear like a little rattle, and then he pulls out the full teapot, which is still hot and smoking. And then he's just gonna look between you two and says, "I don't think you two. I mean, you can try it if you like. It's a very particular taste, but if you want to try, well, this," and he holds the teapot up. Give it a shot and see if you like it. And he's just his beak kind of quirks up again into another little grin. As he picks up the mug that had somehow knocked itself over on the side of his armchair, kind of pours another glasses full into that, for looking at Loretta and Annie.
Hold on. Huh. Okay.
So what's that 19 for?
Alright, so both of them notice that this pot is, you said it was smoking?
No, sorry, I say smoking. I meant like steam was still coming out of it.
Steaming. Well,
Yeah,
you know
sorry.
what? Both of them notice that this is a
Smoking
nice
as in, like,
steaming...
black smoke.
This
Although
is
that would be quite fun.
I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I'm gonna say for certain reasons, it is just gonna be steaming. It's not gonna be smoking.
Okay. Well, both of them notice that this is a nice steaming teapot. Loretta goes,
Oh, well, I always like trying new teas.
Annie looks a little more hesitant, but, you know, she sees Loretta, you know, going to give it a shot, and so she's like, well, yeah, okay.
Lao's gonna kind of side-eye Annie and give her another smirk and say, well, you don't have to. I understand if you're not willing to stretch your taste buds to a bit more of an imaginative area. I understand if you want to play it safe. And as he passes by, he just pats her on the arm and follows Loretta out of the room.
She turns her head and she goes, you bit. I'm just. She has this look like, oh, you fucking didn't, did you?
Yeah.
She is going to follow, and she's going, actually, I think I will try it.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. He's just gonna call back as he's following Loretta.
I think the three of them. Yes?
Sorry, continue.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say he's gonna call over his shoulder. I may have a few of those biscuits left from our last baking. If you want to try those as well, they might pair quite well with these.
Oh, you still have a few of those? Oh, I hope you've kept them well. I should have put some instructions as to keep them fresh.
And Loretta is she's just vibing, you know?
Loretta's here and I love her.
And meanwhile, Annie's just like, her steps kind of slow a bit. You know, I don't know why, but I don't trust like that. But she's not gonna stop. She's like, well.
March on, Annie. Gosh. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to do, Wick.
There is one thing I want to do as a slight epilogue. I do want them to each try it.
Oh no, yeah, obviously. Roll a con save, please.
But otherwise, that'll pretty much be it. Here. Oh, roll a con save. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so that one's
you're gonna
that.
roll a con save to see if you like the tea and the biscuits.
Okay, should I roll a separate one for tea and biscuits, or...
Yes.
Okay.
JJ, get out of the roll zone. This isn't about you, JJ.
Alright, well, I'll roll for Loretta first.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me also roll... Let me think of that, and then... Oh yeah, no, but she's... Okay. And then that one was... That. I have to make sure I get all these modifiers correct. Okay. Oh my fucking god.
What is that?
So, this is Loretta trying the tea and cookie.
Okay, I'm gonna have to poke you. I'm not gonna say it in this FPS, but I'm just gonna type this out.
Yeah, it sure does, don't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
But for the audience, that's a 16 and a 19, despite her modifier being a -1.
I've got to ask, what was what? Like, what was for tea and what was for biscuit?
Oh, the first one was tea, the second one was biscuit.
She likes the awful cookies! She likes the tea. She adores the cookies. There's something about these cookies just, man, you wouldn't think they'd work, but boy howdy.
But I haven't rolled for Annie yet.
So, let's see, Annie. Come on, Annie. Let's see how you fare, hun.
Good. And oh my god, perfect. Okay, so
Oh,
so for the so for the tea, she's got a 3.
oh, oh
And
god.
for the cookies, she has a 7.
Oh no.
Hold on. I do want to roll. Hold on. I want to roll one other thing.
You're gonna roll deception. You're on
Uh,
deception.
oh, right. I accidentally rolled something else. I was like, no, wait, yeah, you're right. I should have rolled this. Oh, wait, no, she wasn't gonna roll deception. Here's why.
Oh, sorry.
The funniest shit is, she rolled an 8 on her whisk save. So she sees Loretta enjoying the tea and cookies, and she's like, okay, all right, yeah, no, I can give it a shot. She takes one sip of tea and does a spit take.
Oh, deception. Actually, I'm gonna roll this save.
Uh,
Oh,
I can't tell what that was that I rolled. Let me just roll that again.
what's the matter, dear? Did you choke? Are you okay?
Loretta.
Loretta, dear sweet Loretta.
How are you drinking this?
What do you mean?
And 24.
24 to
20.
whisk save. Al
Oh.
doesn't laugh his ass off. Absolutely not. He's calmly sipping his tea, having his biscuits, just very quietly, kind of just sitting there, looking between you two. He looks at Loretta, and Loretta can roll insight actually if she wants.
Oh, okay.
Do. Let me roll the inside.
I have remembered a thing.
17.
Okay. Well, Loretta, as you're enjoying these strange but wonderful biscuits and this very interesting new kind of tea, man, you should probably try and brew this more often. Like, you look over at the bird that suggested this to you, and he seems to be looking at you consideringly. He seems to
Oh.
be thinking, and I mean, it seems like he's connecting dots in his head. You don't know what that's about, but he does seem to just be tilting his head and squinting at you, kind of like like an eagle or a bird of prey kind of do. Like his
Oh.
eyes are sort of. It's not super obvious, but his eyes are like dilating and then shrinking back again as he looks at you. Um, that's only for like a few seconds before he shakes his head and turns away and just brings his mug back up to his beak. As he seems to definitely not laugh or smirk as Annie suffers.
Gosh, the saddest thing is that, like Loretta's taking a couple of bites, and she's got that little flower effect where, like, you're enjoying something immensely.
Yeah.
But and so uh Annie's like, okay, well, the tea was bad, but like maybe the cookies are okay. And she she bites one. She's like, she just has this, like, those where your face like darkens and you've got like those like blue lines that are on there.
Yes.
And she's like,
I'm
oh
going to be
God,
ill-face.
Loretta, what the hell?
What? Are you all right?
What? How are you alive?
How do you live like this?
I'm just gonna roll something.
She just looks confused.
That was a 7 on performance as Lao just seems to look over and give a big old grin, lean back in his chair and says, "Oh, why, Annie, is that not your taste? Oh dear, well, it's all right if it's nothing that you like. I'm sure that Loretta has something more palatable for you. And he's just gonna kind of reach over and try to tug the mug away. And I don't know how much of the biscuit she's got left, but he's gonna try and just pull that away, hand it probably towards Loretta or to himself, depending on whether she says no.
Annie snaps her head towards Lao, and like places a hand so that the plate stops moving. I know what you're doing, and I'm gonna fucking eat it. She picks up the cookie, and she just shoves the rest of it into her face, and you can tell.
Could you roll me another con save?
Yeah. Ah, that tracks. That's another 3.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna roll a medicine. Unless, depending on what you do here, is there gonna be an obvious sign from Annie that she is suffering?
Yes. The thing is, well, as she shoves the rest of the cookie into her mouth, you notice that she kind of has like her face kind of scrunched up, like, man, this is totally gross. But you also notice that the corners of her mouth have started to turn slightly reddish.
Interesting. Okay.
She is just chewing, though. But it's like the slow, painful chewing. Like, God, I can't believe I'm eating this.
I'm just gonna roll a quick medicine to make sure that she's not gonna die. Cleric, your medicine sure is poopy. It's not the worst stat, but it's a 17.
Hey, a 17's good. And, hold on, I might roll something too. Oh,
that's a nat
Loretta,
one.
lost in the sauce, has not noticed, well, not that she hasn't noticed Annie's suffering, but she hasn't noticed, the other stuff. But you have noticed that, this reddishness has started to turn slightly splotchy, and you get the terrible feeling that maybe she's allergic to something.
Oh shit. Okay. Lao immediately kind of snaps out of asshole mode, and he's just okay, what can he do here? Allergic to something. Give me a second. Oh, I know what he can do.
Eh?
And this is an FPS, so I'm gonna say this works. He's just gonna very gently, like, reach out to Annie and says, Annie, I think you might be having a reaction. Can I just... and he's just gonna make a very quick, like, pinching motion with his hand.
Huh? It's nothing.
Lao's just gonna narrow his eyes, and he's just gonna say, Annie, spit it out.
She stares him dead in the fucking eye and picks up the tea.
Oh my gosh.
Surely she can wash this down. She takes a big sippy.
Oh my gosh.
I'll roll another con.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
This is me and Wick bully Annie, the FPS. That's funny.
You know, power from spite. That's a nat 20. She goes, fuck you, and drinks all the tea.
His hand kind of just freezes before it reaches her chin. He's just staring at her, dead in the eye, as she chugs this mug back. Oh.
But now Loretta goes, Annie, I sure you're okay? And she slams it down like it was a drink, and she goes, try me. But now the the splotches are visible to Loretta.
Oh, oh dear.
No, I'm fine. It's probably like the salt or whatever.
Well, it shouldn't have too much salt unless. Oh, that's right. You did change a little of the recipe. Um, but hold on.
And hold on, she's gonna. Oh, what's that roll for, by the way?
That was a whiz save to see if he could stop himself from fucking laughing as she chugged the whole damn thing down. Like, this isn't like malicious. This, if he did laugh, this would have been like an impressed, holy fucking shit, I can't believe you just did that. Well done, kind of laugh. But that doesn't happen because he got a nat 20 on a whiz save, so he's just leaning back and squinting at Annie, and he just gives her a very stern look and says, "Don't do that again. In fact, don't eat any more of those." And whatever is left of the cookies, he just kind of shoves towards Loretta and says, "You can enjoy. You enjoy these. You can keep those. I'm going to go and." He's also going to ask Loretta, "Do you happen to have any other snacks around that won't?" Sort of gestures vaguely towards her splotchy face.
Oh, well, that's just a moment.
And she goes into.
No, I can get it. Just tell me where it is, and I'll get it.
She goes into the her apron pocket, and she pulls out a kind of a strange looking bottle, but she goes,
All right, just turn towards me, dear.
doubt I don't but she does comply, kind of leans her face forward a bit, and you can see that this is some kind of ointment of sorts, and she kind of carefully puts some on on Annie's face.
I did tell you to be careful. I think just some water, right? Would that be okay?
Annie just she still looks kind of like but she just nods a little.
Gosh, see now, Lao is torn for a few reasons. How much of the tincture does Loretta use, by the way?
You can tell it's a very small amount. There isn't too much splotching to begin with, but it's best to kind of just take care of it when you can. So
He's gonna kind of, once she's done, he's just gonna kind of hold out a hand and say, "May I take a look at that?"
Oh, oh, all right.
and she does hand the vial over.
Holds his head in thanks. Don't know what I should roll to see if he can tell what this is.
Oh. Uh. I'm trying to figure out.
If you don't have a specific thing for what this is, we can just say don't have to roll and he just knows.
Now, why don't you roll medicine?
Yay! Okay. It's a dirty 20.
Oh, nice. You can tell it's some kind of soothing, ointment. It does seem to have some magical property, but you can't really tell all too much. But of course, based on what you have just seen it used for, you assume that it does help with inflammation. So.
Okay. He's just gonna nod and he's gonna hand it back to Loretta and say, "I appreciate you letting me have a look at this. I am a cleric, so things like this I tend to try and take note of."
Oh, you're a cleric too?
And she kind of gives an interested look, like, oh,
Oh, he's just gonna kind of like nod and it's just, well, yes, admittedly, with the whole cleric part of it, it's more so less. He seems to be leaning back and he seems to be struggling. It's visible. He seems to be struggling how to explain how he is as a cleric. He's like lacing his hands together and leaning back and just kind of tapping on his fingers. And he's gonna look at Loretta and he's gonna ask, well, it's a little difficult for me to explain how exactly I work as a cleric. But tell me, why don't you tell me about how are you a cleric exactly?
Oh,
and funny enough, you see her also kind of struggle to to start explaining. She kind of hums and haws, and she's like, "Huh, where do I start, and how do I explain this?" Meanwhile, Annie is just kind of staring at the both of you, like, she's just sitting
Annie's
here.
just sitting here.
Yeah.
I hold her so softly. I'm so sorry. You had an allergic reaction, and now they're both just having a chat about cleric stuff.
She's just sitting here. But she kind of just juts in and says, "You know, as much fun as this is, I think maybe we've had enough excitement for one day. I think I'm gonna bounce."
oh, you're leaving already?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much done practicing anyway, and it was a very nice performance. And she's now looking at Lao, and you can tell she gives a smile it's less polite and it's more genuine.
He's gonna look back at her, and he's going to reply, likewise, I'll admit, it was interesting seeing, well, it was interesting watching you perform, and if so happens that you're around again, it would be fun to compare techniques for a little while. It gives you a smirk. And he's gonna turn back towards Loretta and say, did you say you had, snacks and such? Because again, and he jerks a finger over his shoulder with a thumb, not looking at Annie. She hasn't actually eaten anything except for something that gave her an allergic reaction, so I think it'd be best if she went away with at least something.
Oh, you're very much right.
But Annie goes, bold of you to assume I haven't eaten anything. Of course I eat before practice. But, thanks. And she starts walking away. But Loretta goes,
Oh, no, but he's right. I should get you something.
Loretta, no, it's fine. She kind of just sighs as Loretta kind of goes over to the fridge and starts kind of poking around. Eventually, she kind of takes out this like cute little box, and kind of offers it over to Annie.
Oh, come on. Please.
And she goes, "All right, thanks." Again, she kind of just gives a bit of a wobbly smile, like, "Yeah, okay." But she's gonna kind of make her way out of the hall. But Loretta lingers.
Okay.
You know, if you would like, you are free to use the dance hall as practice, as well, if that's something you would like to do.
Give me a second. Huh? Okay. What's your mod on that? Moving away from your modifications. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Feel free to contest that. That's a 16 interception as he just looks back at her and says, well, you're not always going to be here and I'm not going to ask you for keys, so as much as that would be interesting, I don't feel that it would be completely. I don't think that would be convenient for either of us for me to come and go as I please.
But she did roll a 21.
21. He's not lying, but also he kind of looks at the dance hall, and you can see like there's a weird twinge in his expression as he looks at it, like kind of just bittersweet as he looks at that towards the direction there. He's remembering something, perhaps. He shakes his head. Let's just say that I think once Annie may have a point, and my particular style of dance may not be appropriate for indoor activity, at least not in such a small space as that. I think it would need far, far larger area to be enjoyed properly and practiced safely, mind you. I mean, I had plenty of room in there, don't misunderstand me, but it's, well, more room for this sort of thing is always better. And as he's saying this, he's kind of making his way towards the front door. But he will call back towards Loretta. You said you had a garden, didn't you?
Oh, well, it's not, well, it's not just my garden, but, yes, it's a community garden. Though, I will say,
And she's she's gonna go into again into her apron.
she pulls out a small card. If you would like, you can at least, you can always call, and, if you would like to practice, you can, okay?
Gosh, I'm not gonna make you roll insight again. He is gonna reach out and take the card and look at it, but you can see that he kind of squints at the numbers at the bottom, and you get the impression, you don't know why, but you get the impression, this guy doesn't seem awfully familiar with these numbers. But he's just, I don't know, it seems he's just looking at this card real weird. He doesn't seem to understand the numbers on the bottom, but he just gives a nod and shoves that underneath his blanket and just says, oh, all right, I'll admit, I don't often call people. I can send a note or a letter, I suppose, a date and time. If that would be would be more convenient, I suppose.
Oh, yes, that works too.
He's just gonna nod. Look around. He seems. I mean, you see, he seems to be trying to find a. Oh, actually, whilst that's going on, I need to roll for someone else. Okay, let's see. Okay. It's all quiet. It's all quiet. Not a sound
Oh.
going on right now. And Laos just seems to be squinting, looking around. You see the curls in the back of his head twitching again before he looks up at you and says, well, if you could just tell me where the gardens are. I'm a bit of a gardener, so I could take a quick look at those whilst I'm still in town.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose we could do that.
And she kind of says this as the two of you head outside, and she closes the door.
Yes, I think you will enjoy it. I mean, after all, you're the one that liked plants, yes?
Let me just roll something.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a 19. He seems to open his mouth, and then with a click of his beak, it shuts again.
Oh.
He does not immediately go off about his plants at you.
Oh.
Yes, well, I am rather fond of plants and such. I mean, I did rather come here I did rather come here because there was a strange strain of plant, after all. Oh my gosh. Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, and this tracks because she saw through this before.
Yeah, he's a liar. He's lying. He's still lying. But he just, as he starts to talk, even with that 19, as he starts to talk about dance, he does seem to go off for a little bit. As I guess you walk him to wherever the gardens are.
But she just gives you can tell that she just gives a soft smile, and she is listening to what you're saying, as the two of you head for the community gardens. But I'm thinking that's probably a nice place to end off. You can have like a slightly, it's not like quite a sunset, but it's like starting to get a little bit later, and the two of you stroll up to where the gardens are. But I have to say, thank you very much.
Thank you for indulging me as I went off for a full 5 minutes trying to describe something.
Listen, I didn't know how to describe how Annie was dancing, so I was just like, I don't know.
Did a good job and it was wonderful. It was so nice.
For you too.
I perish.
No. But
Yeah.
but thank you for playing with me. And
thank you for playing with me. Thank you, JJ, for sitting in horror in the audience, screaming profanities at me. That was great.
But thank you, both present and future listeners, and we hope
Yes.
to catch you in the next one. Have a nice time
Thank
zone.
you for listening. Bye bye.